Hold up. And so I had this awesome idea after doing my Lewis Howes read early, that chapter I read from his book. I thought about it. I was like, why don't I do a live stream of me actually reading other like business books, like do 30-minute live streams of me reading and and do this and see how it develop over time. And I think some people who like me, some people are audio learners, visual learners, and some people like three, but me, I like audio too. So maybe doing something like this could attract people who probably want to check out new books but don't know if they want to buy it first, or people who have the book but they would like to like have someone to read along with them. So I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah, I like the idea of it, because there's people who watch people study for like hours or whatever, and those people ain't doing nothing. They just sitting there, and people like watching them study. So I'm like, then why not people watch me read different type of business, entrepreneurship, leadership type books? So with that being said, we're gonna start this new format off with the first book. This is a book that a friend of mine sent me, and it's called Disciplined Entrepreneurship. Let's see it turn on. Yep, he says it. It's called Disciplined Entrepreneurship, and I already kind of started it, but I'm gonna start over. Now, with this, I'm not gonna read every single thing. I'm not gonna show you all the images, because I'm gonna leave that to you if you're interested to get the book yourself. So, with that being said, I'm gonna skip some like the sections before the first chapter and just get straight to it when I do these book readings. Like I said, if you want to know the whole entirety of the book, then it's up to you to get the book yourself and check it out on your own. And then later on, when I do the live streams and read it, you can follow along. So we're gonna do this for 30 minutes. So it's about 30 minutes of reading. You can listen to me read to you, right? So for this book, we're gonna start with where is it at? We're gonna start with step. That's step one either. We're gonna start with the 16th of the 24 steps. But before we get there, I am gonna talk about a couple pages beforehand, because I think it is important in painting and helping you get an idea of what this book is about, right? So I'm gonna talk about, in essence, what this book is gonna cover, and it talks about like two different type of entrepreneurship principles. So let's begin. So reading from page 6, and yeah, so starting off with page 6, distinguishing two distinct types of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about creating a new business where one did not exist before. That definition seemed clear until my colleagues, Professors Fana Murray and Scott Stern, and I spent a good deal of time talking to various organizations about how to promote entrepreneurship in different regions of the world. We found that when we said entrepreneurship to people, it could mean at least two extremely different things. A discrepancy that had important ramifications, because each type of entrepreneurship has dramatically different objectives and needs. So, small and medium enterprise entrepreneurship, initial SME, the first type of entrepreneurship is a small and medium enterprise entrepreneurship. This is a type of business that is likely started by one person to serve a local market and grows to be a small or medium-sized business that serves this local market. Put my heat on. Cold in here. Okay. Again. This is a type of business that is likely started by one person to serve a local market and grows to be a small or medium-sized business that serves this local market. It is most often closely held, likely a family business, where close control of a small business is important. The business rewards for these founders are primarily in a form of personal independence and cash flow from the business. The business generally do not need to raise as much money. So when money is injected into these businesses, the result the resolute increase in revenue and jobs created is relatively rapid. Such enterprises can be geographically dispersed, and the jobs they create are the most part non-tradable in that they cannot be outsourced to someplace else to reduce costs. Frequently, these businesses are service businesses or retailers of other companies' products. The key distinguishing factor is their focus on local markets. Innovation-driven enterprise entrepreneurship. Innovation-driven enterprise entrepreneurship is the more risky and the more ambitious of the two. IDE entrepreneurs are aspiring to serve markets that go well beyond the local market. They are looking to sell their offerings at a global or at least a regional level. These entrepreneurs usually work in teams where they build their business off some technology, process, business model, or other innovation that will give them a significant competitive advantage as compared to existing companies. They are interested in creating wealth more than they are interested in control. And they often have to sell equity in their company to support their ambitious growth plans. While they are often slower to start, IDE entrepreneurs tend to have more impressive exponential growth when they do get customer traction. Growth is what they seek at. Growth is what they seek at the risk of losing control of their company and having multiple owners. While SME companies tend to grow up and stay relatively small, but not always, IDE companies are more interested in going big or going home. To achieve these ambitions, they have to become big and fast to serve global markets. IDE entrepreneurship creates companies that have tradable jobs that may well be outsourced if makes the overall business more competitive. These companies are much less likely to be geographically diverse, and instead are concentrated around clusters of innovation. It is also generally the case that any injection of investment or money requires a much longer time to show results in terms of new revenues or jobs. In the short run, the SME model will be more responsive, but with patience, the IDE ventures have the capacity to produce profound results, as we have seen with companies like Apple, Google, Hewlett-Packard, and other publicly traded companies. Our focus is innovation-driven enterprise. A healthy economy consists of both types of entrepreneurship, and both have their strengths and weaknesses. Neither is better than the other, but they are substantially different enough that they require different mindsets and different sets of skills to be successful. Therefore, in this book, rather than teach entrepreneurship, we will teach IDE entrepreneurship, because this is what I know best, having co-founded 2 companies based on an innovation. So, what is innovation? Innovation has become an increasingly cliche term, but it has a simple definition, which I have adapted from MIT professor Ed Roberts. Innovation equals innovation times commercialization. I modified Roberts' definition, which involved addition, because innovation is not a sum of an invention and communication, and because innovation is not a sum of an invention and commercialization, but a product. If there is commercialization but no invention, or invention but no commercialization, then there is no innovation. The invention, an idea, technology, or some sort of intellectual property is important, but entrepreneur does not need to create the invention. In fact, the inventions that lead to innovation-driven companies often come from elsewhere. Such was this case with Steve Jobs, who identified others' inventions. The computer mouse created by Xerox PARC is the most famous example, and commercialized them effectively through Apple. Likewise at Google, which has made most of its money through AdWords, the text-based, keyword-driven advertisements on their search results pages. A different company, Overture, had invented such advertisements, but Google was successful through its commercialization of Overture's inventions. These examples show that the capability to commercialize an invention is necessary for real innovation. An entrepreneur then serves primarily as the commercialization agent. I very consciously do not use the term technology-driven entrepreneurship because innovation is not limited to technology. Innovation can come in many varieties, including technology, process, business model, positioning, and more. Some of the most exciting innovations of our time, such as Google, iTunes, Salesforce.com, Netflix, Zipcar, and many more are, at their core, business model innovations. They are enabled by technology. Yes, Zipcar would find it difficult to maintain its large network of cars without keyless entry technology for its members, but at its core, Zipcar's innovation is treating a rental car as a substitute for owning a car, rather than as temporary transportation for car owners and business travelers visiting for far-flung areas. Zipcar doesn't have to understand the intricacies of its technology to be successful, but it has to understand what it means for its customers to collaboratively consume. As technology becomes more and more commoditized, you will see more business model innovations that leverage technology. There will still be many opportunities for technology-driven innovations in areas like energy storage, power electronics, wireless communications, and much more. But this is not the sole definition of innovation. All right, so 6 themes of the 24 steps. The 24 steps are discrete and can be grouped into 6 themes. Each step should be done in numerical order with the understanding that in each step you will learn things that will prompt you to revise the work you have done in earlier steps. These themes present a general outline of how the 24 steps will help you create a sustainable, innovation-based business. So, the 6 themes of the 24 steps. Who is your customer? What can you do for your customer? How does your customer acquire your product? How do you make money off your product? How do you design and build your product? And how do you scale your business? All right. So step 0, getting started. All right. So there's 3 ways to start a new venture. All right. I have technology breakthrough. I have an idea. I have a passion. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Who is that live chat? Okay. Comment. And if you don't mind, make sure you like. All right. 3 ways to start a new venture. When I listen to my students, I hear a diverse range of reasons as to why they are interested in entrepreneurship. Some students have worked in one industry for years and want a change. Some want to push their skills to the maximum and have the biggest impact on the world. Some want to be their own boss. Some hold patents and are interested in different ways they can commercialize them. Some have an idea about how their own life could be improved, and they wonder if that idea is interesting to others. All of these reasons can be synthesized into 3 distinct categories. Have an idea is one. You have thought of something new that can change the world, or some small part of it in a positive way, or something that can improve an existing process you're familiar with and you want to implement it. Have technology. You have come up with a technological breakthrough and want to capitalize on it, or simply expedite its deployment to have a positive effect on society. Or you have learned about a technology breakthrough and you see great potential for a business. Have passion. You are confident and you are comfortable pushing yourself to develop your skills in the most comprehensive way possible. You also might believe that being an entrepreneur is the way to have the biggest impact on the world. You simply might know that you want to work for yourself and control your own destiny, but you don't have an idea or technology yet. So You like to learn about entrepreneurship while looking for a good idea, technology, and our partner. I am frequently told that an entrepreneur cannot start knowing a customer pain, a problem that bothers someone enough that they would be willing to pay and alleviate the problem. But that approach can be discouraging to someone who is unfamiliar with entrepreneurship. Furthermore, it discounts the importance of starting a company in line with the entrepreneur's values, interests, and expertise. In time, they will find a customer with a pain or opportunity where the customer is willing to pay for a solution. No matter how you have become interested in entrepreneurship, you need to start by first answering the following question: what can I do well, and what can I do well that I would love to do for an extended period of time? Thanks for thumbs up. All right. So what does it sound like to have an idea versus a technology versus a passion? Idea. I want to start a company in Africa that will create a sustainable business model to improve life for people there and empower them with jobs. Here, the idea is that a sustainable business model will reduce poverty in Africa more effectively than charitable contributions to the poor. This sentence is enough to move on to the next step of market segmentation. Though, as you will see, you will have to be much more specific before you can turn the idea into a business. Technology. I have a robot that allows you to fill objects rendered by a computer. This statement radiates with potential. How could someone benefit from being able to have a three-dimensional object on their computer screen and still be able to feel it? In some way, it's physical space. I co-founded a company, Sensible Technologies, around this very technology, and throughout the book, I share Sensible's story. Passion. I have a mastery in mechanical engineering, and I can quickly prototype most any technology gadget you want. Now, I want to put my skills to use in the most impactful way possible and be my own boss. The person has identified a personal comparative advantage. The ability to prototype gadgets quickly, which can help a business go through product iterations faster. The person may want to consider a hardware-based business as it would line up well with the comparative advantages. So once you have answered these questions, you will have taken the first step towards discovering a customer pain. A pain that you are interested in alleviating because it is in line with what you are interested in and have an expertise in. So how to go from I have a passion to I have an idea or technology. Many of my students who are interested in entrepreneurship do not yet have an idea or a technology. So if this is you, you're not alone. By first taking stock of your personal interests, strengths, and skills, you can more readily identify good opportunities. You can do this exercise either alone or with a group of potential co-founders. Getting started, considering the following: knowledge. What was the focus of your education or career? Capability. What are you most proficient at? Connections. Who do you know that has the expertise in different industries? Do you know other entrepreneurs? Financial assets. Do you have access to the significant financial capital, or will you be relying on a meager savings account to start out? Name recognition. What are you or your partners well known for? Skills in engineering, understanding fiber optics, past work experience. In previous jobs you've held, what inefficiencies or pain points existed? Passion for a particular market. Does the idea of improving healthcare excite you? How about education, energy, transportation? Commitment. Do you have the time and effort to devote to this endeavor? Or are you ready to make a new venture your primary focus? If you or your founding group have strong coding and project management skills, you may be more inclined to develop a web app. If you are a pro at rapid prototyping, you may want to consider creating a physical product of some sort. Or if your past work experience is in education or medicine, you may want to consider what you can create that would improve those areas. Often, you will find an idea or technology that improves something for you personally. Then realize that the idea or technology has the potential to help many others. The phenomenon is called user entrepreneurship. The Kaufman Foundation has found that nearly half of all innovation-based startups that are at least 5 years old were founded by user entrepreneurs. Finding a founding team. Entrepreneurship is not a solo sport. In 15.390 New Enterprises, the foundational entrepreneurship class I teach with other faculty at MIT, students who go through the 24 steps must form teams within 2 weeks due to the time constraints. Oh, got about 12 more minutes because I started, actually about 16 more minutes because I started a little bit late. All right. Time constraints of the academic semester. The process is not an optimal way to form teams, but it is enough for the student teams to gain experience in team formation and for teams to implement the 24 steps over the course of a semester. From the ideas in the class that turn into businesses, some teams stay intact, but far more often teams undergo a healthy reconfiguration of their membership at the end of the semester to create a stronger, more unified team that is better suited to capture the opportunity on a longer term basis. This is an important evolutionary process. Your choice of co-founders is extremely important. The research at MIT suggests that businesses with multiple founders are more successful than those founded by an individual. There are many resources that go into more depth about finding good co-founders. Probably the single best and the most rigorous book on this topic is Harvard professor Noam Chomsky's book, The Founder's Dilemmas. For other valuable perspectives, here are a few articles that may be helpful. Paul Graham, What We Look For in Founders. Margaret Huffern, What Want to Start a Business. Pegman Por Mosey, How to Find That Special Someone. And Hilgi Senses, 5 Rules for Co-Founder Heaven. Where you go from here. Once you have identified an idea or technology as the basis for your innovation-driven business, you must rigorously test and flesh out your proposal through the 24 steps. Your first goal is to assess the needs of potential customers, focusing on the target customer with the goal of achieving product market fit. A product that matches what the customers in a specific market are interested in buying. Focus is very important because entrepreneurs have very limited time and resources and so must be hyper efficient. Focus is so crucial to determining your target customer that I refer to the first 5 steps of the 24 steps, from market segmentation to profiling your persona, as the search for your holy grail of specificity. Yeah. The holy grail of specificity. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. So, step 1, market segmentation. All right. In this step, you will brainstorm a wide array of potential customers and markets for your business. Narrow your list down to your top 6 to 12 markets. Gather primary market research on your top 6 to 12 markets. For success in entrepreneurship, there are more glasses that are better than others to view the situation. Once you have completed step 0, get started. You should have an idea or the technology that answers the question, is this something the world could benefit from? And is this something I can do well and would love to do for an extended period of time? You should have a team of co-founders. Now, you will begin the 24 steps by taking an idea or technology and brainstorming a wide array of potential customers who might be interested in some application of it. Then you would choose 6 to 12 top opportunities and do in-depth primary market research where you directly interview potential customers to learn more about them. The single necessary and sufficient condition for a business. Regardless of your business, you must ask yourself, what is the single necessary and sufficient condition for a business. It is not a product, a technology, a customer need, a business plan, a vision, a strong team, a CEO, money, investors, competitive advantage, or company values. While all are great things for a business to have, none of them is the right answer. The single necessary and sufficient condition for a business is a paying customer. The day someone pays you money for your product or service, you have a business, and not a day before. This simple truth will keep you focused on what is important. You cannot define a business as a product, because if nobody buys your product, you simply do not have a business. The marketplace is the final arbiter of success. Now, just because you have a paying customer does not mean you have a good business. In order to have a good, sustainable business, you will need to gain enough customers paying enough money within a relatively short period of time so you do not run out of capital, but instead become profitable. And as a startup, you have a few resources. So every action you take must be hyper efficient. Therefore, you will not start by building a product or hiring developers or recruiting salespeople. Instead, you will take a customer-driven approach by finding an unmet need and building your business around it. Create a new market that you will dominate. Creating an innovative product where no market currently exists is essential to the success of a startup. By creating a new market, you will have a very high, if not dominant, market share that you can use as basis for future expansion. Being a Me Too company in an existing market is a more difficult proposition given your limited resources. To create this company in a newly defined market space, you will focus on target customers. A target customer is a group of potential customers who share characteristics and who would all have similar reasons to buy a particular product. Focus is the most important skill for an entrepreneur. And as you will find throughout these steps, it is difficult to focus too much. You must work hard to identify and understand customers through primary market research. Because relying on educated assumptions or third-party analysis is guesswork when you are creating new markets. Once you have established a foothold within the target market, meaning that you proved that the group with a substantial superior product and they are paying you for it, you will have enough resources to expand to an adjacent market. In an adjacent market, some customer characteristics will be the same as your primary market, but there will be enough differences to acquire tailoring your strategy appropriately. That process is covered in steps 14 and 24. When paying customers lead astray. While paying customers ultimately determine whether your product is successful, there are two common pitfalls you may encounter if you do not focus on creating a new market. The first is selling to everyone, which is the idea that you are a fledgling startup with little to no resources can make products that fit the needs of anyone you run across. Let's say you have invented a new polymer that waterproofs fabric better than anything on the market. You first hear your friend Sally, who read in a newspaper that camping equipment is a lucrative market. So she suggests you sell tents. Your custom Joe chimes in. He wants waterproof underwear. A neighbor thinks that easy to clean stuffed animals for children will be just lovely. To design and execute any of these products will take time and resources. If you start production on one product and find there isn't enough customers to make your venue profitable, you almost certainly will not have the resources to keep making products until you find a profitable market. The second common pitfall is the China syndrome, also known to my students as fun with spreadsheets. Rather than create a new market, the thinking goes, one could choose a huge existing market, get a fraction of the market share, and reap the rewards. After all, you could get even 1/10% of the toothbrush market in China. Wouldn't you make a lot of money? The logic would go something like this. The internet says China has over 1.3 billion people. If they all have teeth, the market size is 1.3 billion customers. I built a toothbrush for the Chinese market, and maybe we'll get 0.1% market share in the first year. If each person buys 3 toothbrushes a year, we could sell 3.9 million toothbrushes per year. And if we sell them for $1 each, we have 3.9 million in sales the first year with lots of room to grow. I call such a high-level market analysis fun with spreadsheets because you have not demonstrated in any compelling manner why people would buy your product or why your market share would increase over time. You also have not validated any of your assumptions by learning directly from customers. You probably haven't even been to China. After all, if entrepreneurship were this easy, wouldn't everyone sell toothbrushes to China? Big companies with lots of resources can afford to work hard to gain incremental market share, but entrepreneurs don't have the luxury of resources. Don't get ensnared by the China syndrome. Take your resources and apply them to a narrow, carefully defined new market that you can dominate. Complex paying customers, primary versus secondary customers, and two-sided markets. Thus far, I have used customers to refer to the entity, such as a household, organization, or individual who pays for, acquires, and uses your product. Within the broad definition of a customer, there is the end user who ultimately uses your product, and an economic buyer who makes the final decision about whether to acquire the product. The end user and economic buyer can be the same person, depending on the situation. But there are two cases in which this definition gets more complicated. The first is when your business model calls for both primary customers and secondary customers. In order to make money, often these businesses are structured where the primary customer is charged at below cost or gets product for free, and a third party pays for access to the primary customer and our primary customer information. For instance, Google search engine is free to use, but Google sells advertisements on search results pages to make money. Google's ability to provide advertisers with keyword targeted ad placements and demographic information about search users further enhances Google's value proposition to advertisers. You likely will not have a primary secondary customer delineation until you have completed step 15. Design a business model. So for now, focus on your primary customer as you complete the first several steps. The second case is called a two-sided market, where you need multiple target customers for your business to exist. eBay is a good example because it needs both sellers and buyers to participate in the auctions to be successful. All right, we're gonna do one more page, and we're gonna call it. So I'm gonna do this last page, and we're gonna call it a pause for this book for tonight, and then we're gonna pick back up tomorrow. So I'm gonna read this last page, and yeah, all right. If you have a multiple-sided market, you will complete each step once. You will complete each step once for each side of the market, but you will likely find through your primary market research that one side of the market is more critical to win for your business to succeed. So you will want to focus there. That, for instance, two of my former students, Kim Garden and Kadam, started Medium, an iTunes-like platform for digital artwork. As they investigated this concept, they realized that getting the demand side of the digital artwork As they investigate this concept, they realized that getting the demand side of customers to sign up to put digital art on their mobile phones, tablets, PCs, and TVs was not the challenge. The hard work was going to be signing up digital artists who create the art and having them agree to make it available. Thus, while both supply and demand were needed for the new venture to succeed, their primary focus would be the digital artist. How to do market segmentation. Step 1, a brainstorm. Start by brainstorming a wide array of market opportunities. Include even the crazy ideas that you think are long shots, because they are helpful in expanding the boundaries of possibilities to where some of the most interesting opportunities might exist. Even at this early stage, talking about your idea or technology with potential customers will give you clear and accurate feedback for your market segmentation. Oh, welcome back. You will find them at trade shows, through connections with fellow students and professors. Or if others have heard about your idea or technology, potential customers, or if others heard about your idea or technology, perhaps they will be contacting you, suggesting potential uses. The best scenario is when you are the potential customer yourself and have a deep understanding of the problem you're trying to solve. If you have an idea, you may think you already have a specific market and specific application in mind. However, as a first-time entrepreneur, you will want to carefully determine whether your prospections are correct. Likely, your defined market is not specific enough, but you may also find that the market you have in mind is not a good match for your idea, or that other markets are better for starting a business. Be open-minded and creative. For instance, if you are expressing your idea as, I want to create an online social network for high school teachers and parents to communicate about their children's progress in school, you may lock yourself into a path that does not produce a sustainable business. Start instead with, I want to improve education and with technology. I'll say it again. Start instead with, I want to improve education with technology. Then ask yourself why you are passionate about that idea. If technology is your primary passion, you probably want to consider a wider range of industries than just education. If your passion is education, you can simply segment the education industry, but be open to other solutions besides one involving a high degree of technology. All right. Well, thank you for that my one watcher. Thank you for watching this trial of the book reading. We're gonna do another part tomorrow. I don't know what you think. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes of reading. Please comment, give feedback. If you're not already, please subscribe. That helps out, and hit the like button. Those subscribers, those like buttons, those comments, they help me build up my channel. So yeah, I like this. I think this I'm gonna stick with. Reading, live stream reading. All right. So this is Jason, aka Director Nola. I am out now. I need to go do some work on my business, Kimchi Socks. All right. Read to you later.